Our cruise ship season is coming up, Christmas season is coming up, Carnival season is coming up, and this morning we're chatting about tourism inside your Spotlight on Now.
Now, with news that the first cruise ship for TNT's 2022 to 2023 cruise ship season docked in Tobago yesterday, Sunday, and another expected in today, we wanted to check in with officials to discuss the upcoming cruise ship season and continue the conversation on World Tourism Month. Joining us this morning is Chief Executive Officer of Tourism Trinidad Limited, Ms. Carla Cupid, and Tourism Services Officer at the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts, Ms. Jameela Martin. Ladies, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning.
So, Carla, again, congratulations. I know that we would have picked up silver for Tobago, and I know that there was a great showing at the World Travel Market. But we're switching gears to cruise ship now, and I'm wondering, when does cruise ship season begin, and how long does it last?
The cruise ship season begins in the month of November, so we're right on time. Yesterday, as you said, Tobago had its first vessel, and today Trinidad will have its first vessel. It is the MS Insignia, just about 600 or so passengers coming in, and the season extends until April 2003. On the 18th of April, we will have our final vessel. So that's the span of the season usually.
Yeah. And what are we expecting? I mean, how significant is this season given the fact that we're just coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic?
It is very significant because it represents a resurgence, a recovery of the sector, because now you have a lot of activity that is going to happen because the vessels are coming in with all these passengers. We have vessels of various sizes this season, as with any season. So today you have a 600 capacity vessel, so 600 passengers expected. You have right up to almost 6,000 passengers, which will come on the 30th of November, which is the MSC Seashore. So that's something very exciting for us.
Nice. Yes. Now, I know, Jameela, I'm coming across to you. I know during the cruise ship season, there's a wellness exhibition that will be hosted for cruise ship passengers. Can you tell us some more about this?
Actually, that is being hosted by Tourism Trinidad Limited, or implementation arm, which Carla is the CEO. So that team is going to put on a really interesting, exciting event that is geared to promote the theme of Caribbean Tourism Month, which is wellness. And so that is going to involve a lot of activities. A lot of stakeholders are going to be promoting wellness tourism offerings here in Trinidad, as well as, get them more involved in that whole idea of recovery, as Carla would have mentioned. So it's going to be quite interesting.
Yeah. The theme wellness, is this something that is repeated year after year, or this is the first time that we're doing it for this cruise ship season?
Well, actually, the theme wellness would have been chosen by the Caribbean Tourism Organization, of which Trinidad and Tobago is a member, and that organization is really designed to promote and also to develop the Caribbean tourism product. And so they would have sat with the member states and made the decision to have wellness as the theme for 2022. We would have had that theme some time ago, maybe somewhere around 2018, but given the current atmosphere coming out of COVID-19, the interest of the traveler in having those sorts of experiences, that's why the theme would have been chosen again for 2022.
Now, in 2018, when the theme was chosen, did we see a lot of interest in something like that?
Yes, because generally the Caribbean is linked to wellness experiences. Persons usually come to rejuvenate. They think of sun, sea, and sand experiences. You see thousands of tourists lying down on beaches, etc. But the idea now is that persons are looking at mind and body well-being. Because of COVID, persons would have been becoming more interested in how do I ensure that I prevent myself from getting COVID, or even if I do get it, that my immunity is strong enough. And I know we all experience that and those kinds of thoughts. So our traveler now is even more aware of that need to ensure that, they have low stress levels, that they are definitely putting things in place to ward off any diseases. And so the growth in that interest has been extremely notable on the tourism landscape.
Now, Carla, I'm coming back to you because I wanted to know, I think the one that docked yesterday would have been 1,000 passengers. The one that's docking today is about 600.
Yes.
But I know that there are cruise liners with over 1,000 passengers. Are we expecting any popular cruise lines to come during this season?
Well, tomorrow we expect the Rhapsody of the Seas, that is part of the Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. So they are, there's a capacity of about 2,700 passengers, and the reason why that is so significant, it is because Royal Caribbean is back in Trinidad and Tobago after an absence of about 20 years. We would have, met with them over successive, for example, FCCA, Florida Caribbean Cruise Association conferences, Sea Trade conferences, and one of the things that we need to understand about cruise lines and courting cruise lines is that when you have a conversation with them in, let's say, 2018, it takes about 2 to 3 years for them to make the decision or to finally say, I'm coming to your destination. So that is very significant because we would have worked with them, we would have, kept in constant contact with them. And so now for the season, they're having about 17 calls to Trinidad and Tobago. And that is really excellent. And it shows that there is, a confidence in the destination and what we have to offer. Apart from Royal Caribbean, I would have mentioned MSC Seashore. So MSC Seashore is coming with 5,800 passengers and 4,540, I believe, crew members. And so that's about 9,000 persons. And that is also significant because MSC is one of those larger sort of luxury lines. So we would have gone to these conferences, spoken to these persons, spoken to cruise executives, and said to them, here's what we have to offer to you and your guests. And because of those constant conversations, you'll find that they're now making the decision to come to Trinidad and Tobago. In addition, for Carnival 2023, we'll be having the Rhapsody of the Seas in port for 6 days. And they are starting off in Barbados. So they're coming in as a sort of floating hotel, if you will, and coming in with the guests. So tickets are on sale for that. They have their own thing set up. But, it's something that is significant because it shows that, a reconnection in terms of, cruise lines showing interest in what we have to offer.
Now, while they may have their own plans, do we have plans for them when they land? Like, do we have an itinerary set out when these passengers dock that we can offer them something?
Yeah, so once the passenger, of course, buys into a cruise, what they have to access would be tours and experiences. So you have things like they go to Maracas Beach, that's always popular. They also go to, for example, Mount St. Benedict. They go to Carney Bird Sanctuary. There are a whole host of experiences. And also what is popular this year would be the cultural experiences. So what we would have done is the tour operator would have teamed up with Queen's Hall to put on a cultural show. And what you'll have there are some of our traditional characters, carnival characters, and so on display for passengers to experience. We'll also be adding the element, for example, of community tourism, where, Jameela would have alluded to it earlier. You have persons who would be coming in to showcase local craft, handicraft items, and also local wines and chocolates and so on. So there's a full experience, a well-rounded experience that the passenger can engage in when coming to Trinidad and Tobago. So that's the attraction of a cruise line coming to a destination. You must have something really authentic and engaging to offer.
Yeah. Jameela, I was wondering how wellness will play into this, because we would have mentioned that, of course, the passengers are coming here for that rejuvenation. But are there any activities specifically geared towards wellness that you're going to be offering the passengers?
Well, passengers will have opportunities to, of course, visit community-based experiences. What, for instance, we have coming up currently within this week would be launching our community-based tourism enterprise workshop, and that's going to be launched by the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts on Wednesday. And the passengers, not only on the cruise lines coming in November, but also going straight through cruise ship season, will have the opportunity to visit communities that are involved in tourism. And the workshop that we're speaking of is really designed to help community-based tourism entrepreneurs to raise the standard and the quality of the products, the services, and the experiences they have to offer. So that workshop, which is going to be 2.5 days, and we're going to start with the village of Lupino, the community of Lupino and environs, which has a really strong community-based tourism product. They're going to be learning about how do I manage my business, how do I market and promote my business, how do I ensure that the customer has an excellent experience. What really is community-based tourism? And so through giving them that knowledge and that information, the intent is to help our visitors to really enjoy their experiences, and also to help our communities to earn a good income or good revenue from community-based tourism.
So the community-based project is for members of the community, for them to learn how to serve the passengers when they arrive.
Certainly.
And when is this going to roll out?
So the first session is scheduled for this week. We're going to have that straight through from Wednesday of this week straight through to Friday, 2.5 days. And so Lupino is our first community. And so next month we would have another community as well. And that's going to happen through the rest of the years also.
Nice. Now, I'm just wondering as well, how does the wellness theme tie into Caribbean Tourism Month? Because, of course, we're celebrating Caribbean Tourism Month throughout the entire month of November. How does it fit into the larger theme?
Well, definitely it would fit into the larger theme because the ministry is also going to be engaging in a wealth of other activities to promote it. So even our viewing audience can be part of it today from 9 a.m. And at 12 and 3. For instance, we're going to be launching our Tourism in Me videos, or relaunching those videos rather. And so if they join us on our social media platforms, they have an opportunity to see videos that will also help them to understand what is wellness tourism and answer questions, because it's a trivia and there are opportunities to win prizes. We're involving the school students because we have a tourism and art competition for our secondary school students, and that's running right now until the 30th of November. So students are encouraged to follow us on social media so that they can submit their art pieces along the theme of wellness tourism. And so there are also prizes for that as well. So definitely both Tourism Trinidad Limited and the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts are endeavoring to promote wellness throughout the month in its activities.
Very strategic approach. I like that. Carla, I'm going to come back to you because I'm wondering, what is the feedback like on the ground? For example, the tour operators. What have they been saying about it? Any sort of feedback you can share with us?
Well, there has been an air of excitement because of the vessel coming in. As I said before, it's activity and economic activity. So they are prepping themselves. We have been engaged in training even throughout the pandemic, because everything would have been virtual and so on. So we would have been training them, prepping them, and getting them ready for this first vessel that is coming in. So they have, for example, Tourist Transport Association, they would have been prepping their vehicles and so on, and the tour operators would have been fine-tuning their tours and fine-tuning their skills so that they are readying themselves to meet the visitors and give them a memorable experience. So they have been packaging their tours. Ministry and TTL, we would have been going out to sites and so on to ensure that they're in a state of readiness. We have the La Vigi lookout at Paramin, that would have been incorporated as well into experiences and packages. So there's an air of excitement, there is an air of anticipation that says, listen, we are ready to show off Trinidad to the world.
Now, Carla, quickly, is there an opening ceremony that's happening today?
Is it today? It's happening tomorrow. To welcome the Rhapsody of the Seas, because it's as I said, it's significant. So we will have Minister of Tourism, Culture and the Arts, Randall Mitchell. We have representatives of the port, and of course there will be a crest exchange, which is something that is done when a new vessel comes into a country. So the country exchanges a crest. So we have a beautifully designed crest that we give to the master of the vessel, and they would in exchange give us their crest. So it's a mutual exchange of, we're happy to be here and we're happy to have you, and looking forward to great things for the rest of the season and beyond, because notably Rhapsody of the Seas, they are scheduled to come for 2024-25 season as well. So that itinerary is already in place and building slowly.
Yeah. And Jameela, finally, if anybody wants to know where they can find more about the activities that's taking place, any social media handles, websites you can share?
Definitely. I would encourage you to visit the ministry's website, www.mtca.gov.tt. And on our website, all of our social media information is there. So you can just click on the button and it leads you straight to our Twitter, our Instagram, and our Facebook accounts where all the information is located.
Jameela, Carla, thank you so much for coming in and sharing about, cruise ship season and, of course, the Caribbean Tourism Month. We really do appreciate you ladies here. So thank you so much for joining us on Now.